Hello and welcome to some more vegan plant-based cooking with Philip Tallman. So glad you could join us this evening. It's always fun to have you watch, friends and family, church family, and it's just so great to be able to connect. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about how I started cooking. I didn't really know how to cook for many years, just made the basic stuff. But when I was single for a few years, I decided that I wanted to learn to cook, and I got into plant-based cooking because I learned from some of the videos that Hans Diehl did on plant-based diets, on how important they are for health and all the negative impacts of animal-based products on your health. So I got into plant-based cooking, and I just wanted to cook some things that sounded good to me. And you know, when you're first starting to cook, it can be kind of intimidating, especially if you're used to cooking a certain way with animal products and meat and cheese and milk, and you want to make things that are plant-based, but you want them to taste good. So I just went to the internet and started Googling things. I started looking up things that I wonder if this would go with this, and sure enough, there's a recipe for just about everything. And when you start making the different things that you find online, and you start, you know, liking some more than others, the ones that you like, it's interesting when you start seeing who is the author of the recipes. There are a lot of people that do blogs, cooking blogs out there, and write cookbooks, and I started seeing some of the same names over and over, and I started developing some of my favorites. And probably my all-time favorite is a vegan cooking blogger and a cookbook author named Angela Liddon, and she goes by the name Oh She Glows. And Oh She Glows, if you just Google Oh She Glows and recipes for just about anything, she's made a lot of different things, and you're often going to find something that she made. And I have maybe only found one that I didn't think was a complete winner of the things I've made of hers. And so one of her cookbooks, the first one is the Oh She Glows cookbook by Angela Liddon, and this is an excellent cookbook. She has others, and she has an app for your smartphone, which is really nice. It's really inexpensive, and it has a lot of recipes, and it gets updated. And one of the recipes on her app that we're going to cook tonight is the Next Level Enchiladas. And a similar enchilada version is in her cookbook called Sweet Potato and Black Bean Enchiladas with Avocado Cilantro Cream Sauce. And the recipes are pretty similar. I'll try to get the recipe. That is, Stephen, our pastor and wonderful editor, will get the recipe up on the notes section for you. So let's get started cooking. I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I do. We're going to start out making our enchiladas by making enchilada sauce from scratch. So in order to do that, we start with a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, and we heat that up, and then we add some flour, and we stir that around to make a paste. And once we have a nice paste with our flour, and we don't want to burn it, but this is what's going to thicken our sauce up. And then we add our chili powder, our garlic powder, our cumin, our onion powder, and then a little bit of cayenne pepper. And you might want to turn the vent on for this, the fan, because when you cook cayenne pepper on a stove, it can get a little bit pungent. So then what we do to that is we add our tomato paste, and we have 8 ounces of tomato paste here. And then to that, a cup and a half of vegetable broth. And for vegetable broth, I like to use this Better Than bouillon. It's really convenient because you can just throw this in the refrigerator, and then it's just a teaspoon of this to every cup of water, and then you just have your vegetable broth. Make sure and get the one vegetable based, not chicken or beef based. And then we're just going to whisk this together. Okay, our sauce is boiling a little bit here, so I'm just going to turn it down to a low medium, and we'll just let that simmer for 5 minutes or so. All right, while our enchilada sauce is just finishing thickening up, we are going to get our sweet potatoes started. So we cube up one sweet potato, average size. That makes a little over 2 cups of sweet potatoes when cubed. We're going to add that to boiling water, and we're going to simmer that for about 5 minutes. We want those to get fork tender, but not too soft. Okay, now we're going to get started on making the stuffing for the enchiladas. And I have a good friend named Tracy who has been watching these shows, and she hates onions. So I'm sorry, Tracy, cover your eyes right now. This is the part where we add lots of onions. So we heat up some olive oil, 1 red onion, 3 or 4 cloves of garlic, pinch of salt, and a little bit of black pepper. I wish you were here to smell it, Tracy. It's just a beautiful smell. Onions sauteing, delicious. You know what I mean, right, Dave?
When you meet somebody for the first time, do you know how to tell if they're a vegan? Don't worry, they'll tell you.
Pastor, you're with me, right?
Hey man, don't try to throw me under the bus. You're the one cooking.
So we want to let those saute until they're translucent. So that takes a few minutes. We're going to add a jar of roasted red peppers. So it's very easy. Just buy a can of roasted red peppers, chop them up. We're going to add those, and then a 1/2 cup of sun-dried tomatoes chopped up. Those are really good and give this a great flavor, the sun-dried tomatoes. And then a 1.5 cups, which is about a can of black beans. And then our sweet potatoes that we had cubed and boiled for about 5 minutes earlier. About 2 cups of spinach, and I used the Power Green mix from Costco. It has the baby kale, baby spinach, and baby chard. And this is way more than 2 cups because you can never have too much kale in anything you're making.
Hey, here's a little Dave tip. When you cook your kale, cook it with coconut oil. That way it slides right off the plate into the trash can. Know what I mean?
Let that cook down for a few minutes. Okay, we've sauteed our veggies, gotten them warmed up, mixed together. I added something that's not in the recipe. I added a little bit of TVP, which is textured vegetable protein, which is a soy product. It adds a little bit of course, extra protein, but also I like the texture that it gives to it. And that was about 3/4 cup. It was a 1/2 cup dry, and then you add some water to it to reconstitute it. And then we're going to add some enchilada sauce to our vegetable mixture, some lime juice. Everything's better with lime juice. And then some chili powder and some cumin. These are good spices. And some salt. And then we're just gonna stir that all up to combine it well and get it all mixed in. This is gonna be a lot of food. You know, another person that could really help me put this away would be my son, Brad. He's a good eater too. He's been watching the videos. That's been really fun for me, having Brad watch, and his girlfriend, Hannah. Appreciate all of the viewers. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm enjoying cooking for you. Wish you guys were here to eat it with me. We have come to the point of assembling our enchiladas. So what we did is we just have some nice soft corn tortilla shells here that I warmed up on the stove to soften them up so they don't break up quite as much when we put them together. We'll see how well that works. They tend to break up pretty readily. Then we put a little bit of the enchilada sauce in the bottom of our lightly greased casserole dish. And then we load these tortilla shells up. And we have lots of filling, so we're going to need to put lots in each of them. Stuff them as full as we possibly can. These guys are getting a little too hot to handle. Whew. And then we cover it all with this enchilada sauce. Now we're going to put this guy in the oven, preheated to 350. That's a heavy plate of enchiladas. Now, while our enchiladas are in the oven, we are going to make the cashew cilantro-lime cream that goes on top. So to do that, we're going to take our Vitamix and 3/4 cup of cashews, and they're supposed to be soaked, but again, as I've said in previous episodes, with a Vitamix, you don't really have to soak them. It does fine. And then 1/2 cup of water, and we're going to put in about 3 tablespoons of lime juice, and it calls for a large clove of garlic, but the way I see it, when they call for a clove of garlic, they usually mean at least 2. And then 1/2 cup of cilantro, 2 tablespoons approximately of avocado, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and turn it on first. And that's cilantro-lime cashew cream. All right, so our enchiladas are out of the oven. The sauce becomes kind of a nice dark red color on top. And then we want to make it beautiful to plate it for everyone. So we take, yes, Tracy, more onions, some green onions. I'm just going to dress up part of it, the part that I'm going to eat, because the rest is going to be leftovers. Put a little avocado on top, cilantro, pipe some of that good cashew cream on top of that. And if Ruth were here, we would plate this, it would be beautiful, we'd have a whole shot for that, but she's not. So we're just gonna eat it right out of the pan. That's right. And it's still nice and hot. Wow.
Hey, Dr. Tallman, what are the odds of a little bit, tiny cheese? A little bit of cheese, please. Please, please, just a little bit of cheese.
You just don't need cheese. So much flavor. The cream sauce on top. Wow. This is phenomenal. I wish you were all here to eat it with me. But you can make this yourself. It's in the Oshi Glows app. It's called Next Level Enchiladas. Very easy step-by-step recipe. We'll try to get the recipe in the notes section, and Pastor will do that. He's the editor. Does a great job of editing these videos. Appreciate it, Pastor. God bless everybody. Until next time, hope to see you before then. Love y'all. Bye.